Well, right now we're going to celebrate and highlight a particular type of story. The segment right now is church planting and church growth. And we have some great shout-outs right now to celebrate before we have a video. But we've got 3 right now. They can throw those up on the screen. So we just want to highlight 3 amazing couples and 3 amazing churches. Now, this is not a story of last week they planted a church. Each one of these is a 10-year story. Couples who have survived and broken through. And there's pain in these stories. There is overcoming in these stories. And so we just want to shout out to 3 couples, one that's very close to our heart, and that is Josh and Georgie Kelsey in Fountain. Josh and Georgie, we love you, and we want to celebrate you and what you've not just achieved, but actually what you've survived and what you've broken through and the impact that you've had. And you've planted literally a city-changing church in New York City and have broken out into Berlin and Paris as well. So we want to honor you and congratulate you. We want to celebrate you. Even though you're my son, I look up to you. On a less emotional level, but truly emotional still, another great couple, Sam and Jess Picken. Unbelievable. Where are you? There you go. Another 10-year journey, rocked up in Toronto with nothing, have built an outstanding team. Many of them are on this stage, by the way. And you have built now 3 locations, and you have weathered some of the craziest storms, but you have persevered. And you haven't just survived, you've thrived, you've grown, and I feel like the greatest days are ahead of you. But we want to celebrate what you've achieved already. Let's give it up for Sam and Jess, Toronto, Canada, Ontario. We love you guys. And this great couple, Joel and Emma Burden. Oh my gosh. This young British couple rocks up to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia 10 years ago, and out of nothing have created a rocking Malaysian church with one of the best teams in the world. Their building, their worship, their team is incredible. They've just renamed it Saints. Well, I love that name, by the way. Saints KL. And you guys are an absolute inspiration. What you're doing in the nation of Malaysia and the inspiration to many other young couples is absolutely outstanding. We love you. We commend you. We celebrate you. Let's give it up for Joel and Emma. All right. Now we have, I want you to turn your eyes to the screen, and we're going to celebrate and hear this. You're going to love this story. And this is a story of Mattis and Maureen. Now, Mattis is telling the story, but it's of both of them, and a revival that is breaking out in East Germany. So check it out.
Dear C3 Global Conference, my wife is the best. Thank you for having us.
Perfect.
Love you
Perfect.
guys.
That's good.
Fantastic. Love it. Hi, my name is Mattis Thiemann. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Maureen. Together we have 4 children. I'm the pastor of C3 Home all the way in East Germany. In my early 20s, I moved to a city called Düsseldorf to become a nurse. In that city, I actually met Jesus. So there was, a long story short, I got saved in that city. And after that, I met my wife. Maureen is from East Germany, from this old communistic part of Germany. She grew up as an atheist here, and we knew that East Germany needs churches. We met a lady. She became part of our Connect group, and then the first night she told us about her story, how she got saved in the beautiful sunny city of Sydney. And she attended for 1 year college. We never heard about C3 so far. We never heard about the college. And something just felt in us in the spirit that this is the place to be. In the beginning of 2012, we got accepted and we moved with a baby of 1 year. We knew no one, but we just started college there a week later. The first time we went in Oxford Falls, we felt like this is how church can be. We were amazed. Thing is, for a young German guy that lives on the countryside and comes from the city of Düsseldorf, I was overwhelmed by the skinny jeans. I was overwhelmed by the worship leader looked like Jesus. But what we loved about church was, it was a church that felt like we can invite people. We were overwhelmed with what happened around us, but there was something in us that was like, wow, that really makes a difference. I remember Maureen and I driving to Monavale. We were saying about, this is what Germany needs. Living church that is fun, that is vibrant, that is overwhelmingly excellent. It's joy and people get saved. And the idea of church as a community, as a family. And I think this was probably the first service. There was a DNA dropped in our heart about the house of God, what it could be. And that's just changed so much for us. We loved college. We loved everything we learned there, and we felt part of this big family in Sydney and loved every minute of it. So when we've been in Sydney in our last year, we actually felt settled to stay in Sydney. We served on teams and we had family there, but we had this calling about going back to Germany. Or we prayed in our life often about people that start churches here, but we never imagined that God will call us to start a church here. We moved back to Germany. There was a church we've been connected from the beginning. It was a small church, and we just felt called to go to this church. Half a year or so, I became one of the pastors of the church. But there was something in our heart. We stayed connected to C3. So this church wasn't a C3 church. And through Pamboro, we got introduced to Pastor Simon McIntyre, who was overseeing Europe by that time. There was a moment where we knew the time in this church, what we've done there is over, and we knew that there is still a church within us. Only obvious thing was for us that if we start a church, if we plant a church, it has to be C3 church, because that became our family, that became our roots, this was the DNA. Then we knew God wants us here, so we moved in the midst of 2017, we moved to the city of Leipzig with 2 kids and the dream of starting a church. People came, and these were the humble beginning of C3 Leipzig. By that time we called C3 Leipzig, and then a couple of years later we became C3 Home with multiple locations. We dreamed in the very beginning about one church, and we thought like, oh, if we have 100 people coming to a service, and if we have 10 connect groups, this will be a success. But in that first half a year, I was reading a book where it says like, if you want to really make sure that you step in faith, put a 0 next to your vision. With a couple of people started to announce, hey guys, we dreaming for 10 churches, hundreds of home groups, and thousands of people turning up on a Sunday and worshiping. This was the start of something that was so out of our comfort zone. And seeing now, by now having 3 locations, we are just in the planning of location 4 and 5. We have around 500 people, 600 people coming on a Sunday. We have 60 connect groups now. And seeing what God done in the last couple of years, we're like, wow, we just started with a dream, we just started with a DNA, we started with a vision. What we learn, what we love about C3, that we want to have a church that people can relate to, connect to, and feel home when they come. Place of faith, it's a place where life get changed. It's a place of worship. It's a place of passion. And I think that was important for us from the beginning, to be a passionate church. Here in Germany, especially East Germany, a lot of people are atheists because of the communistic part. See, the people are hungry for identity. And there's a big question about, who am I? It's not about telling people what kind of sinner they are and turn or burn kind of a thing. It's about helping people that they are loved by God, that they are forgiven through Christ, and that there is a stepping into a new identity where we become sons and daughters of the Most High and become a royal priesthood. We believe that we're gonna see East Germany glowing or burning for Jesus through people finding a home in church. To see that happening now here in East Germany, for us, is a huge miracle. Seeing what God is doing in Europe is just a glimpse of what we believe is yet to come here in Europe and Germany.